I'm Amanda, and this is Not Your Granny's Quilt Show. Hey, everybody, welcome to today's episode. I'm so glad you're here. I have a really cool guest. I don't know if you guys know Miri already, but I have been following her for a while now, and I just love, first of all, her content that she puts out on the internet because we just think so similarly in a lot of ways. But she is the owner of Capital Stitch Co. She makes embroidery kits. She and her wife run the business themselves. They design everything themselves. They put the kits together themselves and have been really thoughtful in, their sourcing and their product and what they put out there. And I've just loved following along with her and watching their business grow and thrive. And the focus on the community aspect of things is just so great. So anyway, I was really excited to talk to Miri and get to know her more, and I was just um excited and met with this, the same person on the internet as I talked to today. Like I feel like sometimes it can be hard to know if somebody's going to be the same in both environments, and Miri is that. She's great. So I'm really excited for you guys to get to know her if you don't know her already. And please go check out her embroidery kits. They're at Capital Stitch Co. on Instagram, capitalstitchco.com as a website, and it's capital with an A, not O. So Capital, capital. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's get into it. Hi, Miri. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to talk with you because we've like been chatting back and forth and in each other's Instagrams and threads. And I'm so stoked that this day is here.
Yeah. Especially I admire quilters. Y'all have the patience to do what I cannot, so I'm so excited to have this conversation with you.
Yay. It's funny because I have sat down to try to do some embroidery and some like just different little like hand sewing things. And I'm like, I'd rather sew a big piece of fabric. I don't know. I got to get out of here. It's so funny. It's like a
Meanwhile,
different.
my whole thing is like I'll like chop up a bunch of fabric to sew and then I'll be like, "Oh, that was fun."
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like different phases, and like everybody has their different parts that they like, and I definitely don't like chopping up fabric, but I do like to sew it back together, and I do love to long arm it. Like finishing quilts is my favorite part. So it's crazy, but yeah, it's like a different kind of patience, I think, than people expect. But
Yeah.
it's wild. So you are the owner with your wife of Capital Stitch Co.
hmm
You you hand make, you design embroidery kits, and you teach classes, and there's so much stuff that you do.
All sorts of stuff. And we
Yeah.
have a new Patreon, which has been so exciting because
Yes.
for a little while I was like, I'm making these big, like elaborate designs that I can't stick into a little kid. And
Right.
then like one day my wife was just like had like a bucket of my stuff. I was like, we you ever gonna release any of this? And I'm like, sure, on a Patreon. But yeah, we make embroidery kits. Our most popular kit is the mini because it's just a tiny little project. I like to say like I have ADHD, so I'm like, if we can just get a person to finish one project, then they'll be like, oh, I can do the thing. They'll have a little bit more confidence. So I was like,
Yeah.
how do we make it as accessible as possible? So we made the
Yeah.
pattern like a stick-on pattern, and we made it as small as possible with as little color variation as possible, though it still has like fun and
Hmm.
like we like to say it looks deceptively elaborate, but it's very simple.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I actually bought a couple of your kits to send to my sister-in-law for her birthday because she loves to embroider and like all DIY, all handy. Like her, um, yeah, her like social media presence is very just like all focused on DIY and whatever. But I was like, she's gonna love this. And she got them. She was like, these are the cutest things I've ever seen. She was like so in love with them. So um that was so exciting because I was like, oh, I know I can send her this and it's gonna be like the real deal. Cause you never know, like I mean, as you've encountered and seen
Right.
and you call out a lot is like the AI generated designs that then get like pushed out onto Etsy and onto sale sites and people buy them and you're like it looks cheaper but it's not real, like that's why it's cheaper because it's not real, like you're going to get
Yeah.
hoodwinked and you're not going to be able to make whatever this design is that they're selling to you. So but you're the real deal, you do it all yourself, and I love that for you. So but how did you even get into it in the first place? Like have you always been into needlecraft? Have you always done crafty things?
So this is actually my favorite. One of my favorite stories about embroidery was how I got into it in the first place. Was I It was the pandemic and we're all sheltering in place and like we're listening to like Trump's updates every day and I'm like going crazy because like I can't go into my job and I don't have any hobbies at this point. I'm like an overworked DC like resident at this point. I'm like gunning for law school, nothing else. So I'm like, okay, I need a hobby. So I went on Nextdoor and I just typed out like, "Hey, does anyone have craft supplies? I'm like too afraid to go to Michael's right now because it requires a bunch of like trains and
Mhm.
automobiles and all kinds of stuff." So the outpouring was amazing. I had like all of these people of all different stripes being like, "I have fabric and I have thread and you can come and pick it up from my house. Just wear a mask." And I'm like, "I'll be there in a mask, no worries."
Yeah,
Um, and so, like, people gave me really quality stuff. And I
that's
brought it all
awesome.
home and was like, okay, I have all the time in the world and I have YouTube and I'm just gonna sit down and figure it out. So I stitched a little and I made a really cute thing. And then I was like, oh no, this is my entire personality now. And for like 6 months, I just like anywhere I was, if I'm like out at a restaurant or like I'm at my friend's house, I have like a thing in my
Mhm.
hand that I'm always making. And then, so it's like 7 months later, I posted it on social media, and a local shop was like, "Hey, do you make kits?" And I was like, "Yes."
Sure.
I'm like, "Sure, I can make a kit, no problem."
Yeah.
And so I like panicked, and then I spent a couple $100 and I made the first set of these kits, and
Wow.
it was crazy. Sorry. I think I went a little too far, but
No,
yeah.
no, you
That's how
didn't.
I got into embroidery.
That's awesome. I love that because I think so many people found themselves with so much time on their hands because they suddenly couldn't do their daily routine of going to work, going out into the world, and it was like, what do I do? Like, and
Yep.
and I can I quilted a ton more, even though I was still working because my school was like, no, you will still teach, and I was like, cool. Um,
Cool.
online.
Yeah, yeah,
I honestly got so lucky for the circumstances, like, and I realized like it was such a privilege the situation I was in, um but I was home more, so I was able to sew and quilt a lot more, and it was it was kind of nice to be able to just feel like, well, I don't have anywhere to go, so I guess I'll do the thing that I love to do. And I can
yeah,
imagine like finding a hobby like that in a time where you need something like, you know, it's hard to just only watch the news. It's hard to just like you can only watch so many movies. You can only play so many board games. You can only like
yeah,
take a walk in your neighborhood with a mask on for so long. You know, it's like there's only so
yeah.
many things you can do. And so having an extra new hobby is, especially when it's new, because then it's like you have infinite,
Hmm.
infinite stuff to learn. And with,
The fixation is fixating. You're
yeah,
like, all the
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, COVID brought up so many things that even today I'm like, there's an inherent like inequality
Hmm.
here. Like the amount of time that people who were sheltering in place had.
Hmm.
Whereas like before I had a 2 hour commute.
Right.
And then once I was back to that 2 hour commute, I was like, I'm literally commuting an hour to sit at a desk that I was doing work from home to, the same work. that
Exactly.
I could be doing from home, I'm doing in a desk, like a number of miles away,
Right.
and realizing just how much being in overworked and underpaid society like is detrimental to your health and is
Mhm.
detrimental to like your ability to replenish yourself and your ability to have hobbies.
Yeah.
Um, and it also really cemented for me like you I was saying to you earlier before the call that I
Mhm.
am like pretty I've been sober for a number of years
Yeah.
and just how it was hard to see how many people didn't have a hobby.
Mhm.
Um, and how many people like spent that time drinking
Mhm.
when alcohol suppresses the immune system. And I
Right.
was like, it was all of these thoughts in my head that were like, we're overworked, we're stressed out, we're drinking too much, and we're underpaid. And I was
Mhm.
like, how do I get people doing something that de-stresses them, getting them off their phones? Like,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
only so much you can drink and still be able to stitch. Like,
Right.
think,
Yeah.
how do I get people doing something that's actually like meaningful and productive and like fulfilling um post COVID?
Yeah.
And that's how that little light bulb started going off in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is. It's crazy. Like what? Like even just watching like my state make turn the liquor stores to as an essential business so that they could stay open, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, are you kidding me? And because people threw such a huge fit that like, I need my alcohol. And it's like, I'm sorry, what? Like, there's bigger fish to fry, my friend. But yeah, it's like when you live in the world where like you don't understand like that that's actually super bad for you, like to
Yeah.
to drink that much, like, I don't know. I don't want to make people feel bad if they drink, but like I
No,
think
but I did see a nurse explain once that they kept those stores open because having to deal with people going through alcohol withdrawal and dealing with people in COVID
yeah,
like in the ERs would have been like a huge issue.
yeah.
I don't
Which
know the validity of that, but
yeah,
it makes sense to me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, why is this an institution?
I know. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
like it's hard, and also just bringing up the fact that like yeah, people without hobbies, it's like they don't know what to do with themselves now that they don't can't make their job their whole personality. And I was kind of the same. I put so much of my identity into teaching. And so when I was just like sitting at home, I still, had to get on Zoom with my students and I still had to make lesson plans and do grades and I had to do all these things, but I was still at home. And so it was constantly just like, what do I do? It's like, I mean, I had a hobby,
Yeah.
obviously, and I have other hobbies. Like it's not just sewing, but it was just such a weird time and like watching people struggle was really hard. So I loved like seeing so many people come to a place where they could offer their skills and their hobby as oh like here do this with me, like you can come along with me in this journey and you don't have to like sit at your home and twiddle your thumbs and let your mental health spiral, like
Yeah.
there's stuff you can do with your hands to stay busy. And so I love that you found embroidery and then also were like, I'm going to share this gift with everyone because I think it's
Yeah.
important. And just the accessibility of your kits, the ease of use of them and making them available in different skill level sets and sizes, and it's just so cool.
Well, I appreciate that a lot because I the longer I'm in business, the more I realize like how many things are intertwined. Like people can look at face value and say like this is just a silly little kid, and I'm like it is, but in a society that makes you wrap your entire well-being and personality and social calendar around a job,
Mhm.
and then you don't have time to like sit down other than to mindlessly doom scroll or to dissociate in one way or another.
Yeah.
Crafts are essential for mental health because you can gain a community from it. There are plenty of needle pointing and quilting and sewing circles and cross stitch groups that you can join. But not only that, like you cannot doom scroll and have both hands on a craft at the same time. It's just
Right.
physically impossible unless you have some sort of like crazy apparatus going, which at that point you have bigger
Yikes.
fish to fry than I
Yeah.
can help with.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the it's so worthwhile to sit down and after 3 hours you have worked on a project that is going to be meaningful to you in your life instead of what did I remember from TikTok today?
Right.
And I'm not immune to that. During the pandemic,
Yeah.
I was like the best of
Hmm.
them, but
Oh
then I
yeah.
at one point I realized I have watched 8 hours of video and I can only remember 3 of them.
Hmm.
And what a waste of a life that is. What a,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's real humanity in crafts. There's a real tactileness that brings you back to yourself and
Yeah.
brings you back to your own thoughts. And then in that quiet space, you can sort out what actually means. It
Yeah.
means a lot to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that grounding of like bringing you out of the world wide web back to yourself, back to your surroundings, where you're at. Like, I think that is for me, especially having dealing with anxiety and stuff, like grounding is so important to me. Like, because I will go bonkers, like, if I'm not present, if I'm not choosing to like, and sometimes it's not a choice, like, right? Like, but I also have tools to like make it a choice at a certain point. It's like having something though, like I sit down and do, a handcraft, or I sit and sew, or I stretch, or, it's like something to bring you back to where you're at, where, your body, your home, your space, like that
Yeah.
can be so valuable. And having, uh I even had a therapist on the show because I was like, please tell me that this is valid because mental health comes up so much with crafting. And she was like, absolutely. She's like, I often challenge my clients to like get a hobby if they don't have one and journal about it and how it makes them feel. And if they pick it up during a stressful time or whatever. And she's like, and there's all these studies that show that it actually, it is really good for your brain and your mental health. And I was like, "Hmm, so I guess, we're right about it. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not therapy, it's not a replacement for therapy, but it's therapeutic for sure. And so I was like, okay, we got valid confirmation, so we're good.
Yeah, we did. I mean, there are dozens of studies that are
Yeah.
literally like we gave sewing to inpatient teenagers and they input like literally dozens of studies.
Yeah.
So when I'm like not being hyperbolic when I say like scientifically proven to help your brain, it
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a grounding element in this world of like hyper capitalism where we are all just buying all that we're told. Maybe we're
Mhm.
not personally, but we're told to be a consumer,
Mhm.
consuming all the time. There
Yeah.
is a grounding element to crafts that you can buy all the pillows at Home Goods you want, but they're not going to mean nearly as much to you as if you sat for 30 hours and made a pillow to put
Mm.
on your bed. You're going to take care of that for the rest of your life, or you're going to
Mhm.
get it, refurbished, or you're going to refurbish it yourself. I
Yeah.
have clothing items that, I bought at TJ Maxx, but because I upcycled and added things to it with embroidery, now
Mhm.
they're like staples in my closet that when I see like they're getting a little hole or like the buttons are falling off, I'm gonna replace that instead of going out and replacing it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, yes, I run a business, but it's almost like anti-consumerism in that like I'm telling you, you you don't need 14 Labubus. Like you just need like a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Labubu's are cute though, so that's a
They're
hard
so
one. No,
cute.
they're
I'm
so cute.
pro Labubu, but like
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I know. I know. I don't even have one, so I just like them. Um, but yeah, I think that's like the subversiveness of having a crafty hobby is that like you don't have to you don't have to keep buying all the new stuff and get new stuff all the time to do your skill to like if you can embroider, you can do it, yeah, like you said, on clothing that you own. You can use thread that you already have. You can use different things. And I mean, that's what I grew up doing too, is like we didn't have a lot of money. So, but we were crafty AF in our house. Like my mom had everything.
Yep.
We cross stitched for a long time. So we had tons of DMC floss. We had like buttons and beads and fabric because she's always sewn, and so there was just always things around to do stuff with. And so I was
Mhm.
always embellishing my jeans, and like if jeans got worn out, I'd be like, okay, my favorite thing in like 1999 was like I cut the inseam out of a couple of pairs of jeans that had kind of worn out, and we filled the centers with
Yes, you
fabric
were
to make a
that
skirt. Yeah, I
girl.
was that girl.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I thought I felt so cool. And because I had one that was like knee length, and then I had one that was like floor length because I left the jeans long. And and I filled it with batik fabric because I was obsessed with batik at the time. And that's what you could get at Joann's. That was like the cool fabric. And
Mhm.
anyway, so yeah, like I grew up in that vein too. And so I think I think there was a time where I kind of forgot that about myself. And so I was like, no, I need to buy all these new clothes. And, but I'm like
Right.
coming back to that, like, no, I can actually make clothes and I can actually repair and upcycle and recycle the clothes I do have. And, um, because I have the skills and I can, I'm like, oh, nobody can tell me I can't. And I don't have to buy a whole new wardrobe every time I need something new. And, it's okay to buy what you need when you need it. But I think that over consumerism of the capitalism, the capitalistic world we live in is like can be really hard on you, on your mentality too, because you're constantly feeling like you have to go get new stuff. But it's like sit
Yeah.
down, sit down, you're fine, like you don't have to. And
Literally, yeah.
yeah, like if you have a skill like hand sewing or sewing in general or stitching, like you can have endless things to do with what you already have because you've got that skill.
Right. Yeah. And one of the positive, if there is a positive side effect of over consumerism, is that I went on Nextdoor and asked for craft supplies, and
Uh-huh.
people were more than willing to get rid of things that literally were taking up space in their closet, that
Yeah.
were, gathering dust. And I like to tell people I started the business with $400, which is
Mhm.
true. The first run of our kits was like about $400, but
Yeah.
in reality, the business really started like 7 months prior, and it started for free with
Mhm.
people just handing me things, me having, kind of a creative vision from the free things that I was handed. And yeah, I think about that all the time about how like our generation and younger is like we will never own anything concrete, so we're very
Mhm.
much like a small treats society at this point. That's like how we
Yeah.
get our joys.
Yeah.
And you can't solve that with crafting, but you can be more financially stable if you don't think that every time, you're anxious or depressed, like you need to go out and be spending more money to make yourself feel better. There are other ways to like self-soothe and ways to find community that just don't involve spending hundreds of dollars on things that you're told by social media marketing will
Yeah.
make you feel better, but in reality, you're just going to add extra stress because that's money that you won't have in
Mhm.
an emergency.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
about this philosophically like all the time.
I
Just
know.
uh
Yeah. Yeah.
because owning a small business, I feel like you get to see a side of like systems
Mhm.
that people who aren't in the business world don't see.
Mhm.
Um, some of it's upsetting, but a lot of it is like seeing how you can world build and how you can improve people's community through your own actions. Like
Mhm.
when when we realized we were at like max capacity for thread, I was like, okay, let's start doing free events. We
Yeah.
need to get rid of this stuff, and people need a hobby. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Basically me giving back to, spiritually the people who helped me get here in the first place. So,
Yeah. Kind of repaying that kindness and that willingness to share. And I think that's important. It's like you think of big companies being the ones like, oh, they give back. It's like, no, where it's like, oh, do you want to donate $5 to this charity? And I was like, no, I actually don't, because you're a giant corporation and you can afford it. And you're literally just asking us to pay back the donation you already made. So I'm not going to do that for you. So good luck, buddy. But
yep.
as a small business that thrives off of my local community specifically, I completely understand. So I'm like always looking for ways to give back to that community, because it's like, you're the reason I'm here. So I also want you to feel appreciated in a way that's like, I'm not looking to just like get rich off of you. I would like to be rich at some point. Only so that I don't have to like scramble all the time. But
Yeah.
um you would never know I was rich if I was. So I just but
Yeah.
um
I think I just want to be financially stable.
yeah. I mean, yeah, let's be real. But honestly, like I think to be financially stable in this economy right now, you have to be rich. So
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah,
it kind of goes
literally.
hand in hand. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. But um yeah, I love that, you host free events and give people a low barrier to entry or no barrier to entry kind of opportunity to come try something new and see if you like it. And if you don't like it, then you're no worse for wear. Like you can go about your day and you're not out like $50 for a workshop that you ended up hating, or, it's like
Yeah.
you're not stuck with a
Yeah.
bunch of regret, I guess, in that sense, where some if you take a class for something to learn something new and you end up hating it, you're like, oh, I just spent so much money on that. And
Yep.
so it's
And I'd like to say that no one walks away from my classes feeling that way, but I get it. It is an investment. It's actually so surprising to me when people buy tickets to my classes and they don't come
mm,
because having been in financial situations where like $50 is a lot of money, I'm like, where were
oh
you? Were you in the hospital?
yeah, yeah. Like what
Do
catastrophic thing happened?
you need me
Yeah,
to send you flowers? Like what's going on?
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I love that. I mean, I'm still working out the community aspect. It's hard being chronically ill and trying to foster community just because there are days where I wake up and I'm like, I'm not leaving the house today. And
yeah,
that day might be the day that I planned on doing something community oriented.
yeah,
But I am proud of what I've been able to accomplish despite the things that my body puts me through sometimes. And I am hoping that I get to do more things in the future. Like I really, really I'm set on doing an event called Witchcraft, where
ooh,
you bring like a community sized bag of your favorite candy
hmm,
and you dress up and you bring a craft.
oh
That's all
my
I ask.
gosh,
No money. I just want people to have a sober place where they can go for Halloween that's like a little adult oriented. Although
yeah,
I'm never gonna be like, if you're a mom, don't bring your kid. I'm like, I have coloring books. It's fine.
yeah,
Bring them.
right,
Um, but it is really fun to have this platform to be able to say, like, hey, 38,000 people, like, come on out to our thing, and it'll be so much fun and community building. I want to
yeah,
do more of that.
yeah, I
One piece of hair is just driving me up the wall. What are you doing?
You're like, come on, hair.
Editor, you can leave that in.
Thanks, Miles. Um, no, I love that witchcraft. That sounds so fun. And because yeah, it's like if you're not a kid trick or treating or you're not at a party, like what are you doing on Halloween?
Yeah.
Crafting? Probably. Oh, that sounds really fun, actually. Um, I might borrow that idea for my friends because that sounds really fun. But
Yo, if there are witchcrafts in every state, I will die happy.
okay.
Witchcrafts.
Yes. Yes. All the
Yes.
witches come together and crafty. do crafty things and eat candy because I mean, honestly, that's the best part of Halloween. From Halloween until February. Well, I
Yeah.
guess through Easter, the candy is that's what I live for. Um,
No, I love getting the like white chocolate cross on like
oh
70% off. I'm
yes,
like,
I know.
yes.
I know. I'm like, um, for my for my Airbnb in the like kitchen and living area, I always leave candy out for guests and stuff, and I always try to find like different stuff. But it's like, yeah, when it's on clearance, I'm like, heck yes, and I like buy so much, and then I just like put it out in the candy dishes all year.
That's how I know we're like in an economic crisis. It's like, why is candy $8?
I know.
This is crazy. Like
I know.
last year I had a class on Easter and I went to get chocolate because I was like, oh well, these students are not going home. It was like a university class and these
Oh,
students aren't going home.
yeah.
Maybe they don't celebrate, maybe they do, but like I was like chocolate, whatever. And I was like $16
Yeah.
candy is
Yeah.
crazy.
I know. It is crazy. That's why I wait for it to go on clearance because it's just too much. And I'm like, for Hershey's, really? Like, I could see for like something nice, but
Real.
Hershey's, no, you put plastic in your chocolate. No, I'm just kidding. They don't.
It tastes like that.
It does taste like it. I also can't really eat a lot of chocolate because I am allergic to dairy. So, um,
Mm,
it I have to be snooty for health purposes anyway, so it's fine.
yeah.
But
That's me with the barley malt powder. I'm like,
oh,
it's one of those things that I can eat it to an extent. It's gonna give me a tummy ache,
mm,
but
not worth it.
not worth
Sometimes it
it.
is, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah. I know people are like, can't you just eat? I'm like, dude, I spent my whole life eating stuff that I'm allergic to, and my body revolted. So no, I'm not gonna eat eggs just because it's inconvenient for you that I don't eat them, you know?
Yep.
Or like,
Yep.
you don't know the way that my joints are gonna flare up when I eat have that other thing. So
Literally,
yeah,
like I hate that I'm that person at the restaurant that when
me too.
they bring me out food and it looks too good, I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I will be sick for the next 3 weeks. I need you to be absolutely sure that this is my food.
Hmm.
Ugh,
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm always like sending stuff back, and I used to cry all the time because I would be so frustrated and just like I hate
yeah.
making people feel like I'm disappointed or like that they've disappointed yeah, like that they've disappointed me or that I'm disappointed, whatever. Vice versa. And so sending food back at a restaurant has been like my nightmare, but I'm getting better at it. And my husband's like, literally, you can't eat it. So what is wrong with you? Like, send it back. I'm like, but they made it already. He's like, who cares? You'll die if you eat that. Like, you will literally
Yeah.
get so sick. So, like, it's not you told them and they didn't listen. And now that's their problem. Like, if they don't
Yeah.
want to waste that food, then they should have listened to you in the first place. And I was like, okay. I'm
The
like,
thing I usually tell myself, because I was a waitress for 8 years, is whenever people would send back something and it wasn't the waitress's fault,
mhm.
usually we got to eat it. So I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Maybe they're eating the thing. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal.
I know. And I'm like, I haven't touched it. So hopefully somebody just eats it because it's like, if it's like a fresh scramble, breakfast scramble that they use the
Yeah.
real eggs instead of the vegan eggs, then it's like, well, hopefully somebody eats it because I didn't touch it. Like I just can
Well,
tell I see it and I'm like, that's not it. Like
trust, we are eating it. I worked at this restaurant. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was in a mansion.
what?
Yeah. Oh,
Fun.
so I have so many crazy stories. My life is like
I
insane.
love it.
So like for like 2 months I worked in a mansion. It was crazy. It literally had like a servant's elevator or a
What?
servant's stairs and
Yeah.
quarters. Yeah, it was crazy.
Whoa.
So but these rich people would come in like their Fortune 500 companies would like pay for a luncheon or whatever and they would
Yeah.
get like these seafood towers. And then they'd be
What?
like, "Oh, this is the appetizer. We're not gonna like fill up on appetizers." So they'd send them in the back, and it'd be like all these like high school and college age kids just like like these like oysters and
Yeah.
lobster tails. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was literally like $100 worth of food that they would just be like, no.
We're fine. Like,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Ugh.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine like uh, that was part of like being a barista too. People were like, that's not my coffee. And I'm like, okay. And I'd be like, who wants this? Like,
Yep.
it was
Yeah.
crazy.
Me like with my 4 shots of espresso,
Yeah.
like it's mine.
Yeah. Like, thank you so much for not drinking your Americano. I'm gonna have this now. Yeah.
Legit. Yeah.
That was definitely it was always a perk. A perk? I don't know, because then people would be mad. I don't know. It was fine. I got
Such a perk. It was a
yeah,
perk.
that's true.
Yeah.
And just that, like, we got to drink as much coffee as we really wanted. Like,
Yeah.
I would be try to be nice and only make like 1 or 2 espresso drinks because I had to test the shots in the morning when I opened. So I would like if they looked okay, the first shots looked okay, I would drink those, but sometimes they were
Hmm.
gross. So I just like, no, I'm not putting that in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then I'd do the next one test just to make sure. And then I was like, okay, that's mine for real. And but all the drip coffee, I'm like, and then when I stopped being a barista and I like didn't guzzle coffee all day long every day, I was like, do I even drink water? Like what? I don't
Yeah.
are there other beverages? Like, I don't know. So, anyway,
Am I having a mental breakdown right now?
yeah,
Or is it just the 6 shots of espresso that I've had this morning?
like, why am I shaking? Oh, I haven't eaten and I've
Legit.
only had
Oh,
coffee.
oh my God. Like medical malpractice, okay? I was a barista when my doctor put me on Zoloft and they didn't tell me I couldn't have any caffeine. So I was like
Oops.
in the college bookstore buying things like
You're like,
like I don't know, I might be having a stroke. I don't know. Like
oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm like,
ah,
my heart starts racing and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, I've only had 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's fine. I'm fine.
I'm good.
Oh,
Heart
yeah,
problems, don't know her. Like
I'm fine. Like, if I keel over, I had a great life. I don't know. It's uh, am I gonna stop drinking coffee anytime soon? Absolutely not.
ah,
I'm over here chugging. It's fine. But I think also having worked like retail and having worked in the service industry and doing all these things, like now on this other side of being a business owner has given me such a cool perspective. I think that sometimes people don't have if they just think it's fun to start a business and then they don't have any clue what it's like to run that business
yeah.
like from that other side. But I don't know if that like has helped you if you've like pulled lessons from all that to help you run your business the way you want to.
Yeah. I will not pull any punches. I realized how desperately underpaid I was as an
Mm,
employee being a business owner
yeah,
and just how cruel and undermining like the whole system of like you have to leave your house at a certain time, you have to be at a desk at a certain time, like no fraternizing, no getting up to go pee like more
yeah,
than a certain amount of time, or like oh you took too long in the bathroom, or
right.
like oh you're menstruating and you're sick, go home, like we can't deal with you today. It's like so many jobs that I've had acted like I was an automaton and not a
Yeah.
real person, not capable of like emotional depth or depth or even capable of being believed.
Hmm.
And being a small business owner is just a really harsh reminder that like people do that as a choice.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
Honestly.
that's why like every once in a while we get resumes from people and I will tell them honestly, we don't have enough money to pay you fairly. We do
Yeah.
everything ourselves specifically because we don't have enough money to pay people fairly.
Yeah.
And I've been told by people like affluent people that they're like, "Oh, well that doesn't matter." And I'm like,
It
"It
actually does.
does. It really
Right.
does." Because if you've ever really struggled in your life, I mean, you can go one of two ways. You can either harden yourself to the world and say like I struggled so everyone else has to struggle the same that I did.
Right.
Which no. I'm the opposite way. I'm like I've struggled so I'm not going to make you go through the exact same thing that I went through.
Right.
Um, I like I'm a college graduate. It took 8 years.
Me
Eight
too.
years.
Me too.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and and that's why we don't hire and that's why we don't have any employees.
Mhm.
But on the opposite end, it's also why when people come to me and they're like, I have this dream and I want to do it. And like, how did you do it? I'm like, gosh, you know,
Mhm.
how stable is your job situation right now? Like,
Yeah.
what would it take for you to kind of do like a 9 to 5, 5 to 9 type situation for a little while?
Mhm.
I'm very like hedge your bets.
Yeah.
Do not jump off the diving board without a safety net or a parachute or like quite
Yeah.
quite literally because it's scary out there.
Mhm. Yeah, it really is. You don't know what it's like you don't know if it's going to work and sometimes it doesn't and there's lulls and there's times where it's uncertain and if you don't have something backing you up or supporting you in that meantime while you build, it's like it's really tricky and scary. So I can appreciate
Yeah.
that. And I'm with you. It's like I got out of the corporatized world of working because it was killing me, but also in a realization that like I don't want to perpetuate this. And so yes, I'm going to run this small business. And it was just me and my mom for a while. And then I bought it out from her this last summer and moved it into my home. So and I'm like doing everything myself. And like as much as I would love to be able to pay for somebody to help me with certain things, like I can't because I can't pay you enough to make me feel good about it. And
Hmm.
if somebody's like, "Oh, I would work for like minimum wage," I'm like, "No, because minimum wage is not enough." And that is absolutely not something I'm willing to be a part of because it's killing our society. It's making us sick. It's making us hate ourselves, hate each other. And yeah, like people get stuck in that mentality, like I suffer, so you should suffer. It's like, no, that's we should literally just be living in caves then if you're going to have that mentality. Like
Right.
we improve our world for a reason so that the next generations don't have to go through what we went through because we want things to be better. So it's like that battle of the people who, you know, don't want it to improve because they didn't have it any better and the people who do want to create a better space. And I'm like, well, I can do it right here. You know, it's like I can
Yeah.
offer my services, I can help people finish their quilts. I can try to be as fairly priced as possible while also feeling good about what I'm charging because of my skills and my years and years of acquiring those skills. But like, I'm also not going to try to price people out just because I can. And like, I don't know. So I'm with you. I think it's like, it's a tricky space to be in, but I think if you stand in your values and you know what your values are,
Hmm.
it gets easier to like reject people essentially. Like, I'm so sorry and thank you so much for thinking of me, but I can't be the person to do this for you. You know, I can't offer you
Yeah.
a job. I can't, whatever. And I think that honesty and that integrity is important too, because I think there are so many instances, especially in the crafty world, where things like we were kind of talking about before, like, um, you know, this AI business of coming into the crafty creative world and people trying to use it as like a way to like knock off designs and steal people's designs and try to sell
Hmm.
them. And ultimately, people aren't going to get what they're paying for because it's not a human doing this very human thing. Like you were saying, the humanity is in the crafting, it's in the handmade aspect of all of it. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just more capitalism trying to invade a space that where capitalism doesn't really thrive. And so I lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But anyway.
No, you're absolutely right, though. I mean, crafting is a space that requires a lot of human labor to be worthwhile.
Mhm.
So, it comes back to like people being like, "Oh, well, could you knit me a sweater?" could you make me a quilt? And it's like it's gonna cost $500-600.
Yeah.
But I really like, especially in the fiber arts world, there's so much room to be having these conversations
Hmm.
of, look, that sweater that you got from H&M that cost 34.95, that was made with slave labor.
Yeah.
And we can quite literally say, like, it was made by slave labor, in the third world.
Hmm.
And the reason why it's so cheap is because it of all these factors, of
Hmm.
all of exploitation, of wage slavery, of
Yeah.
theft, really
Yeah.
working class theft.
Yeah.
That is all something that we can highlight because we are masters of our own craft.
Hmm.
Um, it was a really poignant conversation like last year with the crocheters who were
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you love your crochet keychains that you're getting from Five Below. If it's real crochet, it was made by human hands
Yep.
for 7 cents an hour or wherever." And
Hmm.
when people are really interested, I direct them to like documentaries like The True Cost, or there was a recent like one about Amazon on
Hmm.
on Netflix, but there's innumerable documentaries about how we are quite literally destroying our planet with overconsumption,
Yeah.
and how so much of humanity doesn't benefit from these garbage things that we get in the first
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It is also disheartening to me that when I did start Capital Stitch Co., that so many people that did have means weren't aware of how much of the propaganda they like relayed to me.
Yeah.
Because in my first year, I'd be like, no, I hand make these. I make these by hand. I
Hmm.
punch the holes. I I cut the fabric. I thread the thread through the thing,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, why don't you just get someone in Singapore to do that?
Ew.
Why? Well, like, think about it. Like, why don't I get someone in Singapore to do it? It's because I see the humanity in the person in Singapore who's going
Right.
to be doing this for 17 cents an hour.
Right.
Whereas if I make it, I'm going to be getting almost all of the fruits of the labor that I am putting in.
Right.
So for me, it's a values judgment. Like, I don't want to grow into a billion-dollar industry.
Right.
Like, it's just like truly that would be really sad.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's like what do you value in this world? How like I'm all for people having a small business that's sustainable and that they can, if they can pay employees fairly, great. Like do that. Like how do you do it without employing those things that harm our world and like harm our environment? And there's so much textile waste specifically. And I think that's one of the hard things about being in the quilting world too, is the overconsumption of like every new fabric line that comes out, and the bolts and bolts of fabric that are just sitting there because, people moved on to the next one. And I love, there's so many artists in the industry that I love so much, and what they produce is so beautiful. And, if I could feasibly and realistically make things from everything that they put out, I probably would, but it's not feasible and it's not realistic. And, um, so it's hard. That balance too is very like, okay, what is reasonable, what makes sense? And I think also for me, like I used to make more like commission quilts that people would hire me to make a quilt start to finish, and I would my mom and I did that a lot. And now that it's just me, I'm like, I can't really do that as much. One, I don't have enough room to like be laying quilts out all the time,
Mhm.
and two, like if it's just somebody who just wants a quilt aesthetically because they just like it, like I like, no, learn how to sew. Like, I'm sorry, but that seems rude. But also, like,
Literally
if
though.
you're willing to pay me $1,500 to get this quilt, like, you absolutely can learn to do this yourself. But the quilts I will say yes to are, hey, like right now I'm working on a set of quilts for a family made out of their grandpa's silk ties because he has hundreds. I have two huge boxes full of silk ties from his
Wow.
tenure as a professor at U of M. And um, his, PhD robes and all this stuff. They're like, we just want tangible memories. He unfortunately passed away earlier this year, but he was one of the ones to like, he wanted this in motion. And I was like, yes, I can do this for your family. And that's something I'm willing to do. It's a lot of work because taking apart, especially silk ties, are you kidding me? I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll just cut apart this Gucci tie, I guess. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I've never touched I've never touched these designer items before, and this is crazy. And I'm hacking them
That
up.
is
But
truly a labor of love.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, you guys better like these. No, it's really fun. But those are ones I'll say yes to because it's like, oh, we're reusing materials. There might be some new incorporated just to fill stuff out. But I'm like, I'd rather make those kinds of quilts that are meaningful to people than just like, oh yeah, I hired somebody to make this quilt for me. It's like,
Yep.
girl, you can sew a straight line. It's fine. Like, see, anyway,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think for me as like a solo business owner now, like I've had to adjust my values and I've had to adjust my thoughts on what that means, what the business looks like for me, and how
Yeah.
how I'm going to move forward with it because it's definitely different when you've got another person to help you. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like I also needed that separation. Like I was like, I can't be your daughter and your business partner. This isn't not working for me. So
Right.
I'd rather just be your daughter. Like, please and thank you. She
Yeah.
was like, cool, as long as I can loan arm anytime I want. I'm like, yeah, I got you. So
Well, that's a good divide. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's a
I'm
good
like,
parting way.
yeah. And
I'm with
honestly,
you, and I also want to, oh, go ahead. I'm
nope,
sorry.
you, nope, you. It's all you. We're here to hear from you, not me. And I keep talking. So
No, you are fine. Yeah, I'm so happy that you do. I also just want to point out that like in a first world country, there's only so much that you can do the opposite way.
yeah.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's we live in a system.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, our problems are systemic.
Mm-hmm.
So for obvious reason, I'm not going to like exploit someone's labor. There are a lot of things that I will not do.
Yeah.
But I also don't purity test a lot of the thing. Like I'm doing basically the decision that I've made is I have to do good enough,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really all I can do. Like on our eco-friendliness, we have to use plastic as a barrier because parts of our kit can be degraded by weather.
Yeah.
So that was a choice that we had to make based on a number of factors, looking into biodegradable plastic, looking into the research into biodegradable plastic, looking into like what people are saying that biodegradable plastic doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
and is it worth,
Mm-hmm.
spending a bunch more money for something that might degrade a little bit slower? I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are choices that you have to make to survive as
Mm-hmm.
well. And for obvious reasons, like
Mm-hmm.
you can only make so many choices and also be a viable business. And as a business, some some of those choices you're not going to agree with all, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, this was a very interesting. I had a client, I will not a potential client, I won't name who, but they were like, we want the kits to be made in America. And I'm like, interesting thought process. Let's go through what that means.
Yeah.
Thread is not made in America.
Mm-mm.
None. So it would have to either be plastic thread that is not suited to embroidery or none at all. Hoops, embroidery hoops, not made in America. Even the
Mm-mm.
distributor, our one embroidery hoop distributor in the country, made in Taiwan. So
Mm-hmm.
thread, hoops, not made in America. Fabric, not made in America. Like,
Yeah.
so I told them, I laid it all out and I said, there's no way for this to be a viable product and for you to put that stamp on it.
Yeah.
Um, but even if we were a multi-million dollar business that had, the ability to do vertical integration or hire a factory or anything of that sort, it's like then you have like a meta analysis you gotta take. Like,
Right.
will you employ prison labor?
Right.
Like, who in America is going to be making this? Like, there
Hmm.
are sweatshops in America. So, like, there are just so many considerations that a normal Joe on the street who doesn't have a business doesn't even have to think about. And I'm always thinking about ways to improve, but unfortunately, it's just always a gray area
Right.
because you cannot solve a systemic problem,
Right.
personally.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is such an important distinction to make because it's like there are only so many things you can do to fight the system while also surviving within the system. So I think it's just one of those things where it's like we can do some virtual virtue signaling and we can nitpick each other, but I think that's how we got into the situation that we're in, the over policing of people just existing and not enough understanding and not enough listening to each other and not enough like finding common ground and like what we can and can't do kind of thing like and what we should and shouldn't do honestly like
Yeah.
which I hate the word should because it's very judgy but I think there are things that's like you shouldn't attack people all the time if you want people to also be on your side for stuff like if you want people to hear your point of view, you shouldn't constantly be coming at them for their language or for them using the wrong term when they just didn't even know better. Like there's a different way to approach that. So, anyway.
Yeah. I I'm with you. I think there's a certain amount of nihilism where people realize that, like, there's a lot of infighting at the base,
Mhm.
right? Where the real problem is up
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
Like, your problem is not your neighbor who is violating the HOA.
And
Like,
HOAs can
your
go to
problem is the
hell.
HOA.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that
So,
there's an
yeah.
HOA in the first place is the problem. You
Right.
know, it's like
Or your problem is like BlackRock, who is buying all the properties in your neighborhood and then outpricing everyone. Like,
exactly.
the problem is not individual, it's
Right.
systemic.
Right.
It's not like
Yeah.
linguistic, maybe, like in the most minute sense, but it's
Sure.
systemic.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with
absolutely.
you there.
I think it like feels like screaming into a void sometimes because people just like get so hung up on certain things like this person did this and I'm like did you ask them why like I think we've lost a lot of curiosity as a society because we don't
Yeah.
have the time like you were talking about that like mundanity of like you have to get up at a certain time you have to be somewhere at a certain time you have to work a certain number of hours you have to go home you have to take care of your life whether that's you have a family at home that you have to feed or just yourself or you and your partner or whatever it is like there's still
Yeah.
care tasks of the home and yourself that have to be done that don't leave a lot of time for the curiosity of what others are going through and
Hmm.
capitalism kills that curiosity very well. And as a teacher, I saw it in the classroom. Like 8-year-olds were so burnt out on school
Yeah.
because of the over testing and the constant, like, everybody must fit into this box and this mold. And if you don't, you're a problem. And
Yeah.
it's like, I just was watching it in real time and I'm like, I never want to be the source of killing someone's joy for learning or killing their joy, their excitement and curiosity. And, you know, as
Yep.
much of the I was in a charter school and it was I don't know if you've heard the International Baccalaureate. Um
Oh, don't worry. I live in DC.
okay, I was gonna say I'm
We
pretty
have
sure in DC you would know yeah,
we have
what
like a
IB is,
private
but
school lottery. It's insane.
I know ours was
Uh,
public, so that was kind of cool. Like we're the only public IB school. It's still a lottery system, but anybody
mm.
anybody could apply. And
I'm childless, so I only know a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
But
I have stepkids, but yeah, just having worked in the schools and stuff. So it was cool in that way. Like it was public, so no money was needed to be able if you got in, you didn't have to pay. But and it's inquiry based. And so a lot of our we're teaching the standards through these units of inquiry. And so we just build everything around that. And but even within that, there still has to be structure, it's like and the kids still have to be at school at a certain time and we have things at certain times. And even
yeah,
within that freedom, there's still a lot of shackles. And so
Yeah.
I think again, it's that kind of like, how do we teach our kids to think globally while also teaching them how to be successful in this society because they have to be like
Yeah.
anyway.
It is a vice. I mean, this is something I think about with the business just philosophically all of the time. It's like, where do you have time for joy? Where do you have time for relaxation? Where do you have time to de-stress and to put your phone down and to be doing something other than contributing to capitalism,
Mhm.
contributing to your personal productivity, making yourself a more like beautiful option on the market of employees or whatever.
Yeah.
And it really does filter down to these kids too. I
Mhm.
mean, I love my parents, but
Mhm.
I was a two-income household and, I had the eldest daughter. So a lot of my adolescence was getting that chicken out of the freezer.
Yeah.
Don't forget to take the chicken out of the freezer. Or like, I'm like watching the kids after school. Like, and then, I mostly had very understanding and meaningful teachers, but I had some teachers that were like, "Why are you doing homework in homeroom?" Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm tired and I'm stressed, and
Yeah.
sometimes acting as third parent to
Mhm.
other kids, and there's so many kids in these classrooms that are going through worse
Mhm.
than just that, because I had a pretty stable living situation growing up.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I agree with you. I think we have lost a little bit of curiosity. I think social media takes that out of us.
Mhm.
Um, I think social media is the like a false stimulation of community.
Mhm.
And what it really is divisive. It puts you
Mhm.
in a box through that algorithm and it shows you things that it knows that you're going to react to. And if you're on it long enough, you become reactionary to the things that it shows you.
Mhm.
That's not community.
No.
Um, And so I have a love-hate relationship with it. Obviously, I have to use it for the business, but
Yeah.
I do think that there's just so much value in saying, I'm going to be at this place at this time. Bring your project, bring your kids, bring your friends. I don't care who comes, just come sit with me
Yeah.
and like relearn that we are all living the human experience and
Yeah.
that we all deserve community.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I think it can be hard and sometimes people don't have local stuff that they can do, but it's like, but what can you do to make that to change that? Like I think that's part of it too is like willing to take action on that as well. Like, oh, there's nothing in my community. Well, start something. Like you can
Yeah.
like your idea for the witchcraft, like of just showing up, bring your handcraft, bring your own craft, like it's not a class, whatever. It's just a hang. Everybody show up and
Yeah.
you can do it anytime. It doesn't have to just be a cute Halloween theme
Yeah.
that I'm so excited about. But you can,
Next year we will internationalize witchcraft.
dude,
Witchcraft. 50
I'm
cities.
yes, I have wheels turning. I'm literally so excited because I'm like, oh, that venue, they might say yes, and that would be really fun. And I think I could happen this year. Like, I really want to do
Yay.
it. Miri's witchcraft. I'm gonna copyright it for you. No.
Oh man, don't do that. It's such a process.
I'm sure. I know. I'm like people who actually go through that stuff. I'm like, dude, good on you, because
It
yikes.
was a nightmare. It's actually a really funny story. Like we got our national trademark and it
Mhm.
took like the better part of 2 years. It
Really?
was crazy. Yeah. I was
Oh
like,
my
all I want is rights to this logo, rights to our name. And they were like, cool. We have to send that to a federal attorney who's going to look it over and be like, actually, it's really close to blah, blah, blah. Like, what if we carved out a little bit more of this, your area of expertise? And I'm like,
God.
cool. I actually had a paralegal tell me once, it's surprising that Coca-Cola hasn't tried to make an exception to your trademark. They do it for everyone. And I was like, that's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Coca-Cola?
They'll be like, so they'll like come in with their attorney, and their attorney will be like, make sure that they include in their name and trademark that they can't make like Coke products or whatever.
Oh.
And so you just have to like sign off like I'm not trying to sell Coca-Cola products. Like
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Like if you were
it's
to
so wild.
design a Coca-Cola can like as a oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Well, also calm down, Coke. Calm down.
Literally like this attorney's being paid like $250,000 a year. They'd be like, fuck your little business.
Yeah. You better not embroider a Coke can or else.
We'll come for you.
Oh
This is
my
also
God.
why people would be like, "Can you do this copyright thing?" I'm like, "Nope,
Absolutely
no,
not.
no."
You can,
Former
but I'm
legal
not going to.
professional. I'm not touching that. You go for it if you want. Good
Right.
luck.
Yeah. Oh, you were a paralegal for a while, weren't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you kind of have feelers in that world of don't do it. Girl, don't do it.
Girl, don't do it. Don't do it, girl. This is me every day.
Yeah. You're like, why
It's
are
me
you?
with like Disney ear businesses. I'm like,
Lord
good
bless
luck.
you.
Good luck, Lord bless.
Stay far, far away from you. Yeah, I know. I'm like, if you do it for your own personal, whatever, like go ham.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people who sell them without being licensed, I'm like, oh, you're in a world of trouble, honey.
It's huge in needle pointing. Huge. Because,
Mm,
like, people love needle pointing, like, Tabasco bottles, Coca-Cola
hmm.
cans, like Old Bay Spice. And I'm like, there's no way that this person making stuff out of their closet in, like, Ohio is getting all these licenses. And I'm
No.
like, cool.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh my God. I don't know if you've heard of QuiltCon, but it's like big quilter convention.
Yeah.
And last year, was it last year? No, it was actually this year in Phoenix. That one of my favorite mini quilts was somebody had pixelated like teeny tiny, like half-inch square finished. It was a LaCroix can. And I
Mm,
was like, that's so cute, but also like thankfully it's just for their own personal, it's not like they're not selling it or anything. But I just thought, man, that would be so crazy as a pattern. And also like you couldn't get away with selling it because LaCroix would
yeah.
be like, that's ours.
I
Well,
saw it in a shop a couple months ago. I
mm,
was in there and they had cross stitch Pokemon kits. And I was like, there's no little logo that says like official Pokemon product on them. And I'm like, y'all are just gonna get sued. I don't
yeah,
like
yeah.
don't
Don't get sued.
get that's the number one rule of business.
Hmm.
Don't get sued.
Yeah. Somebody at one point, like clients have asked me for crazy stuff, but somebody was like asking me to like create a recreate a painting in a quilt. And I was like, first of all, and second of all, no. Like
Yeah.
I no.
Yeah.
Or, people are like, can you just like, I don't want to buy this pattern, but can you? I'm like, no, if like, what are you talking? I don't know. Just
Yeah.
I can understand if like someone's like writes a pattern and tries to sell a pattern of just like a patchwork of squares. I'm like, anybody can do that. You don't have to have a pattern for that. And I'm not stealing your pattern by making it because it's literally tale as old as time has always been in the quilting world. Like you'd have to go back hundreds and hundreds of years to like find the source for that.
Yeah.
But someone else's pattern and people are like, oh, I don't want to buy that pattern. I'm just going to figure it out myself. And I'm like, okay. Um,
Yeah.
or just like recreating stuff and then trying to sell it. I'm like, the person literally said,
AI
don't sell
AI
this.
has rotted people's brains. Like quite
Yeah.
literally. They'll be like, I bought that pattern, therefore I'm going to sell the pattern. It's like, no, no, no. That's not
No,
how this works. That's not
no.
how this works at all. Uh,
Uh-uh.
that's why a couple of people have asked me like why is it on your little I have like a little copyright footer on all
Mhm.
of our patterns. And they're like, why is it all rights reserved for personal use? Do not sell the finished product. And I said, because these big corporations, they'll buy the pattern one time, they'll get someone
Yeah.
to finish it for slave wages, and then they'll figure out how to market their own creation.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I don't care if Susan wants to sell it to Jamie. I'm
Right.
like, I do not care about that. You do that. I don't care.
Right.
But I do care if like Susan is making it for Walmart.
Right.
So
Right.
uh, it's just again, all the
Yeah.
philosophical like conversations you have to have in your head. It's like, what am I gonna do if
Right.
Temu steals my thing? Like,
Right. I
yeah,
know. It happens in the quilty world all the time too. And it's crazy, like just the number of times, especially recently, that like pattern designers have been like, oh, this company that is claiming to that this is their pattern, like that's mine. They stole it. Like the templates that they're selling, they've made themselves. It's not like, and like one lady, she's from Australia. She like bought whatever it was, like her the fake pattern to see.
mm,
And she's like, this is garbage. And she's like, I hate that they're trying to sell this because then people are going to relate it back to me. And then they're going to think that this is what my product is. And this is absolutely not what I do. Like, and so
yeah,
anytime I see that, I like reshare it because I'm like, people need to know about this. Like, don't, these secondary sites. And like, it even keeps happening on Etsy. And like, I appreciate
yep,
the fact that like I was able to build up my business through Etsy, but now I'm like trying to phase out of it because I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be on a platform that is just blindly supporting drop shippers and AI shit because it is a
yeah,
slap in the face of those of us who actually do the work. And
absolutely, yeah.
um and like one of my most recent guests and like now a quilty friend, but she puts out incredible designs and they're always so beautiful and intricate. And this an I don't know if they were cross stitch. I think they were cross stitch company straight up stole her design and was trying to sell it as a cross stitch pattern. And she's like, that's exactly my quilt pattern. And they're like, well, we saw it on the internet and we just recreated it. She's like, no, that is literally the exact plan and layout and sizing of my quilt pattern. Like you stole my design. And
Yeah,
she just like blasted them until they finally took it down. And they've done it to other people too. They just like I'm like, you need to hire a new team because they're like, well, our
yeah,
team, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, your team did absolutely no research. Your team saw a design they liked, recreated it, and sold it, told you that it was fine. It's like,
right.
it has to stop because it's like people are just, again, capitalism. And I'm going to scream it from the rooftops until the day I die. I don't care how annoying I am. Like,
I'm
it's this,
listening.
yeah, it's the sickness of capitalism. It makes you think that you have to have the next newest best thing out there and you're not going to survive if you aren't popping off constantly. And it's like that's not how humans actually work. Like you
Yeah,
can't physically keep up and it's like it's killing us. It's making us do crazy things. And it's like
yeah,
maybe that was never someone's intention, but it's like they've gotten to a place where they're so desperate and they're so stuck in that black hole that like they're willing to do whatever it takes to stay on top. And it's like, oh,
yeah,
take a breath and look at yourself in the mirror because we have to stop doing this to each other.
yeah. I'm 100% with you. I was actually talking to a friend Angela about how we really have lost nuance, especially online. Like it's impossible to have some conversations without people being like, "Well, my thing is an exception." And I'm like, "Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is an exception." But when I say you shouldn't be filling your house with one-use plastic, I'm not talking about your personal collection of figurines or, your tchotchkes or whatever. I'm literally talking about like the average American household having like 300,000 items in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When like, and this is a just in the last century, right? Like you go back to like 1925 or whatever, and
Yeah.
we're like buying things based on utility,
Hmm.
based on how long they're going to last, how durable they are,
Hmm.
how you're going to be able to give this to your grandkids. And like you can even see some of this in the thrifting culture now. It's like
Mhm.
people are like buy uppercase Pyrex because it's made better than the lowercase Pyrexes.
Yeah.
People go searching for items that were made in the 60s and 70s because they last.
Mhm.
But we have to be able to have the conversation that is, yes, your one-use plastic is probably fine, but there is a point at which it becomes a problem for you financially, it becomes a
Mhm.
problem environmentally, and it becomes a problem of clutter because
Mhm.
I fear for so many millennials who are looking at their parents retiring, looking at the houses that they grew up in,
Mhm.
and thinking, I'm going to have to clean that out someday.
Mhm.
And it is wall to wall full of stuff
Yeah.
that is single use or
Mhm.
is a couple of uses and then it falls
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that makes me sad because for me, I look at that and I say every single item there was $17 at some point.
Mhm.
So they worked for that $17. Because for me, I think of everything in terms of like I make $25 an hour and the sandwich costs $18, and that sucks because I'm only going to spend 7 minutes with it.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking and I'm like, yeah, it's a cheap blouse and you used it twice and it's at the bottom of
Mhm.
your closet now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I just wish more people thought like that. Like the
Mhm.
utility of your labor, the money that you are being paid is so important to think about when you're like, well, Labubu is $60.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Like
like
you
how
spent half a day to be in an in group for 3 weeks,
right.
and it's gonna end up in the trash. And if that make you happy, that's fine. But
Yeah.
there is a gray area.
Right.
It's really a
There's
gray area.
there's a gray area. There's a balance to it all. And yeah, I think I've definitely like hit that point in my life specifically too, where I'm like, oh my God. And with my grandparents passing or my dad's parents passing, like within the last few years, like and having to clean out their stuff. And like even though they didn't have a lot, it was still like, oh my God. And my mom was like, we're not doing this to our kids. And they like got all
Yep.
their like important papers like all together. And like my mom went through this like spree of cleaning things out. And then they split up. And so she's got her own house now. And she's like, no. And there she got rid of so much stuff that was like hers to get rid of and was just like
Hmm.
cleaning stuff out like crazy. And I'm like, okay, I feel better about this because she's like intentionally being like, I do not want to do that to you ever.
All right,
I
mom.
know. And she's
Yes.
she's always been like a tidy, like clean person. And the only thing that she has like a crazy amount of is like sewing stuff. But I'm like, well, I'm fine with inheriting that. My sister's like, same, let's split it. So um
She can be a legendary estate sale someday.
I know.
Like,
I know. I'm like, but and even that, it's like she has one room in her house and that's her sewing space and like that's it. And so it is, I think, kind of eye-opening when you have to go through it and then you're like, oh, I don't want to leave this as my legacy. Like instead of being
hmm,
like, oh god damn it, I have to clean out my mom's house, it's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
she lived with what made her happy and then she also made it easy for us to like deal with it at the end. But anyway, that's kind of morbid, but I think, I do think about that. I'm like, I would rather
You
leave.
are talking to the right I was a wills, trust, and estates paralegal.
Okay, well, there you
I
go.
wrote wills.
Yeah.
So it really informs some of my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, seriously, like I mean, yeah, just like seeing my parents go through it with my dad's parents passing and then seeing like how my mom's aunts and uncles have handled like my great grandparents passing over my life. It's like I'm like, okay, we gotta have this all figured out because you know it's one thing to leave your kid like some property and here's some like I would rather leave made quilts that people can actually use and like take and
Yeah.
be like, oh, that was, Auntie Sissy's or that was Amanda's and I would love that quilt or whatever versus like just piles of fabric because it's like
Hmm.
And you see it at estate sales now, and I see it in the guild, like people donating, like, oh, my mother passed away or my grandma passed away, and they had all this fabric, and it's like stuff they've hoarded since like the 80s. And I'm like, well, nobody wants
Yep.
this anymore. Like, I'm so sorry, but it's gross. And
Yeah.
so it's like that idea too. It's like the joke in the quilting world is like, she who dies with the most fabric wins. And I'm like, wins what? Your family's gonna hate you. Like,
Literally, like your family's gonna have to open a fabric shop
yeah,
under the house. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
oh yeah.
So anyway,
Overconsumption is crazy in this
ugh,
country.
it is so bad.
It's so bad.
It's
I
so
think the
bad.
most often people talk about it in clothing. And I think about this all the time too, because like we're a brand,
Yeah,
right? We
yeah,
sell products. These products can accumulate, but my thing is like we have people that buy most of our kits, like, repeat customers. But
yeah,
when I see them, they're like, I beautified a wall with that. And
yeah,
I spent hundreds of hours making it, and it became part of my collection of art that I have. And,
yeah,
it was this incredible project for me. Or I'll see people that buy another kit to give to their friends, or another kit to gifts are so popular.
yeah,
With our repeat customers.
yeah.
But even like I had a hole in my jean and I
Mhm.
bought your kit to repair the hole in the jeans. Or like
Oh,
my baby was born and I someone did the district on a
yeah.
onesie. It was
Oh,
super
cute.
cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
They're like,
Yeah,
this is my coming home outfit for him because he's a
yeah.
district resident. I was like, oh, wonderful. It's so
Cute.
cute.
That's so cute.
So, like, for me, we make sure that every single thing that we release has utility. It's eco-friendly for the most part. It's, transportable. And
Hmm.
we're also not doing these like gotcha box collections. I mean, we
Hmm.
did do mystery boxes, but that was mostly so that we could get a lot of our older, products out into the world and people would still be excited about them in a
Yeah,
way because it was
yeah.
a discount for them and they didn't have like the freeze that some people get about picking
Hmm.
something.
Hmm.
So like yeah, I just
Yeah,
so much of our culture is like buy 60 of this thing at once and
yeah,
then put it in your basement.
yeah. I know. Oh my God, I
I'm like,
know.
"Oh."
You're like, no, how about just one at a time?
Yeah, me and my wife can attest to the fact there were like a couple of customers who came up and they were like at the holiday market and they came to our booth and they're like, I have three of your kits and I haven't started any of them. I'm like, go home and start
Yeah. Why
them.
are
Get
you
out of my
here?
booth.
Yeah,
I'm like, get out of here.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You maintain the connection to your humanity instead
Yeah.
of the connection to money. And
Hmm.
I think you're better off.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And I think, it's hard. It's like hard to stand on that side of things and also be like, but also buy my stuff, use my business. And so I think also that's why I kind of shifted my business too, is like I want to be more on the service side of like, if you've made a quilt, I will help you finish it. I've got those things. Like I've got the pre-made binding. I will bind your quilt for you.
Mm,
I will quilt it. I've got my long arm machine. I have minky backing if you love that stuff, because I do. And I will sell that because I love it. But and the little finishing tags that you can stitch into the binding or add to your clothing or whatever, like I love putting
yeah.
snarky tags on my stuff, like thanks, I made it and you can't buy this, and hand fucking
Mhm.
made, and it's like fun stuff, and I enjoy that. So I want to also be a provider of that. But I'm like, that's it. Like I'm not gonna jump in on like notions and all this other stuff, because I'm like, no, I'm a quilt finishing business. Like that's my goal, is to help people have a finished product, because
Yeah,
the finished quilt is what matters, not the pile of fabric. So
right.
that's really where I personally shifted, because I, again, with getting real with my values and what I value in my life, and like also being a business that aligns with that. So anyway,
Yeah.
um well, thank you so much. I could talk to you all day long, but I'm
Yeah.
like,
Let's
okay,
stay friends.
yeah, like let's keep talking forever. But I do want to ask you before we kind of wrap up, like
Mm.
if you have a tip or like a piece of advice that you would want to share with the listeners to kind of send us out.
Getting off social media even a little bit is so good for you in so many ways. I know like when you're in it and this is coming from someone who has definitely been stuck before. But
Yeah.
even if you limit it a little bit, get working on something with your hands. It is
Mm,
so good for your mental health. It is so good for the community that you will foster. It is so good just personally to it's so personally fulfilling to be making something.
mhm,
Um that is what I leave everyone with is that social media is ephemeral and it is omnipresent.
mhm,
And even if you're a creator, it's ephemeral. So get off social media and get a hobby and use a hobby to make friends. It is so worth it. You will thank me later. You will thank Amanda later. You will thank everyone later.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm here for it 100%. Get a hobby, stop scrolling, like, and it's easy to get stuck, but when you make a plan to get out of it and give yourself even just 20 minutes a day to start or just something small to start, you'll be surprised at one, how much of that hobby, of that thing you can get done in that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And two, you'll like how you feel a lot better after that instead of doom scrolling. So, yeah, I'm with you. I like it. Well, Mary, thank you so much for joining me today. And it's, you know, the quilty world and the embroidery world are very closely tied. And I just love your content and love seeing what you put online and your kits. And I know I haven't gotten one myself because again, like the sewing, like sitting to sew and sitting to hand stitch are two very different things. Um, but I have had my eye on some of your kits. And so I'm thinking that I'm gonna bite the bullet and then also make a witchcraft day and
Yes,
maybe
Witchcraft Idaho. I'm so
yes,
excited.
let's do it. Let's do it. Anyway, well, thank you again and we'll look for your designs and if people want to get like more access, they can join your Patreon. So and your Capital Stitch Co everywhere, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Capital with an A, Ditchco, everywhere.
Okay. And I will put links below so people can get to you easily.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.